Hello, and welcome to episode 105 of Prose. This week, see how the multiverse is keeping two soulmates apart, and celebrate a love that will never be realized. It has been some time since we last had some musings on all things lovey-dovey. So, though I cannot promise the happy ending style tales everyone has been craving and asking for of late via the Prose email address and other social media, I can say the episode is, at the very least, not all doom and gloom. Also, the first tale this week is an audio version of the found footage style film. That being said, I did use what we can call practical effects rather than recorded ones, so expect a different sound in an attempt to increase the realism. Please go follow the show on all social media under @ProsePodcast across platforms. And if you're enjoying the show, please click a 5-star review wherever you're listening. The easiest way to get the show is to subscribe using whatever podcast catcher you are currently listening to me on. And lastly, please do go to Prose Patreon's page at patreon.com/prosepodcast. Consider supporting the show there, and I will send you some cool Prose swag as part of the deal. Thanks for listening. Let's get to the tale, shall we? This week we have Two Ships Passing and Hercules. Enjoy. Two Ships Passing, an original, improvised short story by Jared I. McGee. Hey Laurel, I hope you sit back and just kind of relax for a minute, because this one's going to be a long one. I'm so sorry. I know how much you hate voicemails, but this might be my last chance to speak with you. So, you know how we keep missing each other and finding each other at all the strangest times as we go here, there, and everywhere throughout the week? I mean, both of us have crazy hours with our jobs, right? Well, here's the thing. I spoke with Dr. Jensen, a family friend of ours. He's actually here in the city. I think he went to Vanderbilt and went on to do something else. Anyway, Jensen is a physicist, a pretty well-known one. He's got some renown for some pretty out there theories that are starting to get a little more prominence, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So anyway, Dr. Jensen, I talked to him about how you just kind of show up and then don't, and how I kind of show up then don't for you, and how somehow we can sometimes get texts and voicemails through. Well, after that last disappearing act that you did, where you came through and asked me to go to dinner and told me where to meet and what time, and then you never showed, and then the next day you had no idea what I was talking about, and I thought I was crazy, and then it happened again that one Wednesday. Well, Jensen says that this isn't all that crazy. Jensen is telling me that supposedly maybe you and I, and please, I understand how crazy this sounds, but stick with me. He says that you and I might exist in different realities. Now, not different times. The first thing I thought was Back to the Future, Marty McFly, Doc Brown, the whole thing. No, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about different realities. About the folds of space and the fabric of time, and how simultaneous realities can happen and overlap in some places. And how at those overlapping places we can meet people, we can do things, we can see things, if but for a moment. And this is where things like ghosts and spectral analysis and oh geez, demons and all this stuff from all of history, but also stuff like deja vu, something as mundane as that. That's where it comes from. Can you believe that, Laurel? That sounds crazy, but this guy, he gets paid a lot of money, and I'm talking a lot of money, to do what he does, to say this stuff, and other physicists believe him. They're proving it with math, darling. Anyway, I'm actually driving back into the city, so again, sorry for the voicemail. But here's the deal. We've been glitching out for each other at a much faster rate than we used to. And Jensen said that glitching out maybe really is the right term for it. The places where we overlap are becoming more infrequent and they touch for less time. Hence both of us standing each other up all the time for these dates. You going to the bathroom in that movie the other day and never coming back, and me thinking you were pissed off. Me saying, yeah, sure, I'll go do putt-putt with you and your girlfriends, and then never showing and looking like a dick. It's not us, Laurel. It might actually be the world of physics, the rules of the universe, both set against us, but also making it where we got to meet each other in the first place. So Dr. Jensen says that with this spottier coverage of sorts, we won't be seeing each other much longer. And I just wanted to let you know, in case I don't physically get to see you, that I love you. Now, I know you know that, but, with Christmas coming up and everything, and you saying now that you're kind of new to the city, and I'm kind of new to the city, and we both want to do the whole Rockefeller Center ice skating thing. Well, Laurel, I had every intention in the world of asking you to marry me here in about 2 months. Now, I know that's sudden, but, you're the one who jokes about it. You're the one asking about kids' names. It works, right? I'm not crazy. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this lame voicemail thing. Long ago, we figured out that whatever the hell's happening, for some reason, our phones, they seem to get the message better than we do. Whatever's wrong with our brains or our realities just doesn't jive as well as technology, I guess. Anyway, as I'm flying down 95 South, trying to come back to you after this stupid work thing, all I can hear is Jensen last week telling me. All I can hear is Jensen the other day telling me, kid, you're not going to have her for very long. Kid, make the best of every single day with this girl if you really love her. So, Laurel T&E Hamilton, wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are, if you happen to get this, I really would love to spend the rest of my life with you. And there'd be nothing that would make me happier than to be your husband. But even as I leave this, I know full well that with these glitches, I don't think we'll see each other again. So I'm trying my best, my dear, dear Laurel, not to lose it, not to speed, because that doesn't work apparently, laws of physics and all that jazz, but, just in general to come back to you. And if you're there, wonderful. And I'm so sorry for spoiling the whole proposal thing. But in a much more likely event that you're not here, just know that there's a rough and tumble guy who's way beneath you and for whom you are way out of his league. worships the ground you walk on, counts you as his best friend, and is so happy that the universe gave us a moment together. It's been phenomenal, Laurel. And I hope this is all in vain and you are going to be pissed at me for me ruining this whole proposal mess I had going on, but again, I just don't think that's so. So, I'm going to keep speeding along with the rest of these schmucks, 85 down 95, as they say. I'm going to hope that when I roll into the apartment, you'll be there, as you always are on Saturday nights, or at least you always were, for that little brief bit of time when we had a much greater, much less infrequent overlap. If you meet me back where you're from, do me a favor and go talk to me. I mean it. Don't just sit around and get bummed out. As for me, I'm going to be a hypocrite. I don't know, even if there is another Laurel here, if that would work for me. She might look like you, but I'll always know it's not you. Dr. Jensen said it's actually much more common for there not to be a me and not to be a you. At least that's what the math and the theories say right now. So, anyway, at this point I'm blathering. Google Maps tells me I've still got an hour into the city. I'll head over the bridge, get over there into Brooklyn, park the car, and God, I hope I see you. Thanks for everything, Laurel. I'm so sorry for this long voicemail. I've probably taken up all your storage again, huh? At least the other times I was just being cheesy and lovey-dovey, right? No talk of parallel overlapping universes or any of that stupid stuff, but I guess you won't mind if you're over there. Alright, darling, I'll stop blathering again. I apologize. I'm having trouble hanging up. I can see the skyline off in the distance, and, well, it just makes me aware of just how excited you are about the big city, and how excited you make me. Okay, that's enough. All right. Sorry for the sound quality, sweetheart. I'm flying down the road. I hope all this made it to you. Especially if it's across space and time. Laurel, you're my everything. No matter what universe you're in. Love you, babe. Love you, babe. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Two Ships Passing, an original improvised short story by me, Jared I. McGee. Please stick around for our next tale this week. It will be a little more traditional than this strange, found footage-esque journey. Let's get to the next tale. Hercules, an original short story by Jared I. McGee. It is impossible to love and to be wise. Francis Bacon. A mighty pain to love it is, and 'tis a pain that pain to miss. But of all pains the greatest pain is to love, but love in vain. Abraham Crowley. I've only ever seen her framed in flashing lights and fun. She walked out of paradise and continued to linger in reality, making me question which was which. Until, rather quickly, my longing for something more was just that. Something from the ether that, unlike her, would curl and roll and call to me, only dissipating into nothingness when I sought to hold it. I was doomed to watch the whatever it was from afar. Far too close to really be from afar, but still far enough to where I could never do more than allow the whatever it was to do more than occasionally brush my skin, kissing it while sliding by. Love stories are always framed so very unrealistically by Hollywood. Some counterfeit of the feelings that make the world crazy, prop the world up, bring the world to its knees. Even those attempts at poking fun at this truism that we all know ring false. They are always forced and seem somewhat sad. The authors and directors trying to deflect from those times when they themselves have been driven mad, held up, or pushed down to kneel. I certainly am no fan of love for love's sake. Platonic love? Sure. Even films that provide a portraiture of this brand of loving another make me cry. Familial love? The paternal, maternal, filial, brotherly, sisterly, and the like? Sure. That is something for which I know that I personally would lay down my life, and a very strong majority of the humans and even animals with whom I've been fortunate enough to make acquaintance seem to bear this truth too. Sexual love? By all means. But for a great many, this is separate from love. Agape, eros, philia, storge. The Greeks like to separate all these feelings as well. This type of love that most recently emerged from the palms and waves, that danced out of smoke and lasers and rock and roll, this has always been the type of love that I have yet to find duplicated through art or words or any other medium available to mankind. This type of love is the kind that is equal measures unexpected and unwelcome. Most, when speaking about this brand of feeling, say it came out of nowhere. Say it was or is inconvenient. With a snort and a giggle and some shoulder shrugs, Johnny speaks of how he had everything under control and life was just fine before he met Janie. But man, when he met her, it was lightning striking gasoline. Janie reminisces about having the best time being single and how she was utterly disgusted by the idea of being tied down here, now in her life. But wow, when Johnny came bumbling into her life, she knew that this was the real deal. She knew she'd be with him for the foreseeable future, if not forever. The indefinable? Is that the way to frame this type of feeling? As if I could ever succeed where millennia of my predecessors have failed repeatedly and failed miserably. From time immemorial, when our forebears made paints from milk, rather than drinking it over toast and eggs, the milk, not the paint, that is, love has remained elusive. And this type of love, the most slippery of its kind. So that indescribable feeling is what I cloak her in. And I speak about that cloaking as if it were a done deed, a relic that I take out and peer at from time to time. No. This enrobement in light and life and impossibility is an ongoing feat. Certainly, like most gasoline match combo types, we rather quickly realized that being together for any extended amount of time was dangerous. So we have curtailed our peerless adventures. However, on those random late nights when a message is sent out of boredom or longing across the concrete seas, the match lights and the gasoline pours and the two meet again, even if in some pale, small version of the usual conflagration. We reminisce about those nights bathed in lasers and smoke and bass. We look back to the palms and the ocean breezes and the excess alcohol. We dig back to the balmy summer's lemonades and music. But this is fleeting. I always must return to my labors you always are forced to return to real life, something a little more akin to that for which one is supposed to aim. Unlike Hercules, though, my labors aren't epic. Unlike Deianira, your love isn't tainted. Still, each time we both nod and go our separate ways, we both know it is much the same, as I shrug on the envenomated cloak, letting hydraic blood flow over my skin. The only nessus in our world is the routine. The villain, the adult concept of walking a path that we are meant to take, doing our best not to give in to the fevered blur of desire and brilliance of turning our back on the quotidian. And there laid bare, yet again, is part of the problem with a Herculean love in the modern age. There is nothing monumental about our mythos. No Olympus, no home in the stars, no immortal life comes as a consolation prize at the end of our tale. No lessons learned, just lives lived apart and never allowed to coalesce. I've only ever seen her framed in flashing lights and fun, ever since she did literally walk out of paradise. But not fully realizing the potential of this allows for that perfect framework to last indefinitely, right? Isn't that what all those who've pined over the centuries have hoped for? At least a continuation of the status quo keeps her near and allows that lightning from the sky to strike now and again. Be it in the digital realm, at a venue bathed in sound, on a walk, with me walking behind, her looking back and us both knowing, in that, at least in that brief moment, we are a wildfire out of control, even if we never once touch, or even reach for one another. And after all, unheard melodies are sweeter than those of our realities. And at least Keats swears that never winning the goal of embracing your would-be love means that she cannot fade. And forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. The poetic is always helpful at writhing nearer the inexpressible, even if everything is cliched and tangential at best. I will continue to allow her to linger in reality, making me question everything and crave that slight touch of the whatever it was. The whatever it is. But I know a love like this will end in tragedy. You know, every kiss suspends gravity. It burns us both to love this close. We lose ourselves, and I know we won't get out alive, but only the lonely survive. And it hurts like hell to love this well, but no one falls the way we fell. We'll burn alive. Only the lonely survive. Mariana's Trench. I know that's what people say. You'll get over it. I'd say it too. But I know it's not true. Oh, you'll be happy again, never fear. But you won't forget. Every time you fall in love, it will be because something in the woman reminds you of her. Betty Smith, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Thank you for listening to Hercules, an original short story and set of musings by me, Jared I. McGee. All sounds you've heard throughout the episode come from YouTube's free music library and freesound.org. All these sounds are being used under CC 01.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication licenses. Well, that does it this week for Prose. Thank you for joining me again and allowing me to be a part of your day. Continue to stay safe and sane out there, and I'm sending everyone all my best. Remember to love those around you, tell them that you do, and embrace this life as it is, stranger than fiction. See you in 2 weeks, and thanks for listening.